Welcome back to another month of the Scarlet Tea Have a Cuppa podcast.
We've been doing this for 5 months now. I'm surprised we managed to do it for this long.
It's one of those where, you kind of just get into the habit of it now, and it's we got the podcast to do, and we're both there oh, neither of us have the energy for that.
Yeah, but at the same time, the instant we hit record, it's like, boom, burst of energy. Where'd that come from? I don't know.
It's chill. It's nice to do. It's
Yeah.
basically just us chilling with each other. We rarely just sit and chat.
I mean, now, yeah, when we have to write the novel and everything
Yeah.
else.
I mean, we very frequently get sidetracked and go on tangents.
It's tangents about the novel, so I don't really count them, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Oh, you're gonna have fun with the thing that I wrote recently, trying to understand some of my characters as well.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
fun. That's fun.
You know the thing.
I do. I'm surprised you did it. I was gonna give you until the end of the week to do it.
You said I had to do it while I was at work, so I did it while I was at work.
Oh, I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
I'm so
I
proud.
do what I'm told, thank you. I'm not a bum. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, no, this
Only when you're involved, that's when I found out.
for this we have 2 great announcements. I know today will be the first day that the podcast goes up along with the official Let's Play. Mhm.
Yes, the official Let's Play is going up. So if you're not watching this on YouTube,
Mhm.
then why not bimble over to our YouTube channel? It's under The Scarlet Tea, because we're not very creative. Irony of being writers.
Yeah, and that's another place where we can just sit and chat instead of constantly stressing.
I like the Let's Plays. The Let's Plays were chill.
Yeah.
When we found a good game.
Mhm.
But yeah. I believe we were playing, what was it, Spirit of the North.
Yep.
Yeah, so go have a look at that. We had fun. We had good fun.
We did. We did.
Yeah, but this month's podcast. What was the other announcement you were going to say?
The other announcement is this month, not today, this month, is obviously a lot of holidays, if you will. You have Mother's Day, which is what we're going to be talking about.
International Mother's Day, as we've discovered, the UK had to be extra and put it somewhere completely different.
But yeah, we have Mother's Day, we have Star Wars Day and all that, but most importantly, we have International Tea Day.
Yes,
so in honor of that,
we're gonna have to celebrate that specially. We're gonna throw a party. It's gonna be a rager. It's gonna be great. We're just gonna have tea. That's the only drink served.
in honor.
Oh my god, could we do a Mad Hatter's tea party episode?
Yes, we can.
Whoa.
Everyone's invited.
Yeah. That's actually gonna be a thing. Like, when this takes off and we actually have some people listening to it, that's gonna become a thing. We're gonna do a live tea party. It's gonna be great.
I'm not complaining. But for today's podcast, I have something very special. Alright.
Yes. I thought it was normal tea, but she went, yeah, let's go with that, and everyone knows that means no. That means no in the universal language of lying.
I ended up signing up for a subscription box from Japan. And they sent me tea and little biscuits and stuff like that. And their first box was for April, or like it was spring themed, and because it was spring themed, it gave me sakura tea, which is the flower blossoms for the cherry blossoms. They're called sakura. And so that's what I'm drinking. And honestly, it's kind of good. I'm not complaining.
Nice. Bet you'll never guess what I'm drinking.
Is it green tea?
Fuck no. Do you think I am? What kind of monster do you take me for? There was a time where one of my friends from the past, who is no longer a friend because they're an ass, They got me. They knew me pretty well at the time, and they got me a massive box of PG Tips, and I was there like,
Ooh.
I'm happy, Christmas present, over the moon. But then their boyfriend needed apparently to get me something. I wasn't first, but they got me green tea PG Tips, and I tried it. I tried to get into it. I fucking hated it. I can't do green tea. So I just wound up with 2 boxes of tea that I will never drink, and I was there like, she knows I don't like green tea, so at what point did he do that? And she was there like, maybe.
Wait, it was the same company? Like, it was still PG Tips?
Oh yeah, PG Tips do all kinds of things.
Oh.
In fact, my dad sent me an Easter box recently. Thank you, Dad. I love it. It's great. I've already eaten all of the chocolates from it. I ate those in a combination of 2 days. But he got me PG Tips Gold, whatever that is. That's not what I'm having now. I'm having the regular PG Tip because that was just in the box. But yeah. So, I am drinking the same drink I drink every goddamn time we do this, because the day that I drink a different kind of tea will be the day that everything in the world goes to hell. That's that's what we go with. But yeah, grab yourself a cuppa, sit down with us, and enjoy our rambling for the next hour and a half.
Should be fun. You want to start us off?
Yeah, this month's episode is about mothers, because it is Mother's Day on the 9th. Not for me, because I'm in the UK and ours was apparently in March. Not that I ever pay attention, I don't have a mother to celebrate it with. Cry, cry, I drink my tears in my tea, but we move on. Yeah, no, Scarlett, you have a mother.
I do.
What's
I love
it
her very much. We're not discussing that. That's way too sad. No, I refuse. That sucks. Let's not. Oh
my god! Don't worry. The years have numbed me. It's fine. I'm good.
All right. Sure. Okay. Well,
I actually am. I'm actually really good at it now. But
I mean, I know for today's it's mother figures and mother, like, it doesn't have to be your biological mother, because some people don't have those. That's okay.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had some almost motherly figures growing up.
Yeah.
Not enough that it's actually caused any effect. I still went downhill very damn fast.
Do you want to make this episode a therapy session?
No, we're not going there. This isn't about me. We're talking about mothers. This is about mothers. Mothers everywhere.
Okay.
Mothers big and small.
Have you ever written, like, a mother? Or
I have.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have written a mother.
Alright, you want
Contrary to popular belief, just because I don't have one with me currently, I still understand what they're like. I have experienced one. No, I had a really cool mother in one of my big projects before we started this one. And I guess you could say, I mean, most of my characters, I never really go into the mother. I know with Vivian, the mother's pretty detrimental, but she's not really looked at all that much. Like, you don't see her that much because obviously they live in France and Vivian moves to Serena. That's part of the story. I guess with me it's more fun to experiment with different kind of motherly dynamics. I know with Vivian there's that, and then with Levi it's the fact that he has a surrogate mother that didn't want kids.
Yeah.
But obviously agreed to be a surrogate mother for his father's. So there's that dynamic in the fact that he's always wanted a mother figure, but she's not really that. She's more like a distant aunt, if anything. I know Tori poses as a sort of mother figure for him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting considering she's a trans woman. I believe that's the way around it is, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're a trans woman, that means you're now a woman.
Yes. Yeah?
Yeah.
You're asking the wrong person.
I don't know.
It sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I know she has a huge effect on him. But yeah, the only like significant mother I think I've ever written was in Contracts and Curses, my first big project.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother was like this, almost like Mrs. Weasley
Oh,
from Harry Potter, like very much there for her kids and be there like, these are mine.
Yeah.
I will protect them with my goddamn life, and they will be happy.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the closest I've ever gotten to a Ginny was June Lowe, I believe her name was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like J names for some fucking reason.
I do too. I feel like it's like a weird writer thing when we just like
I don't
the
know what
first
it
letter
is.
that comes to mind is like J, especially for males. Yeah, for the one thing about mother figures and stuff like that is surprisingly a lot of protagonists don't have them. Like, not even just them, but like parents in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of them have parents. It's just a case of like they never really get looked into all that much because the story tends to be about the protagonist, and in most cases, it's the protagonist going away from home.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the that's kind of why I liked the dynamic that happened. Was the fact that yes, she went away from home, but her family kind of chased after her.
Whose?
In Contracts and Curses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. What's your experience with writing mothers?
Personally, they either come out as the characters themselves, like for example, Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles. She kind of has that motherly personality to her, so I either write them as like the character themselves, or I end up making most of the mothers very loving and caring. It's rare that one of my characters wouldn't have a caring mother, I don't think, at least.
I mean, what about with Ginny? Because I know that her family dynamics...
With Ginny, it's... The way I see it with Ginny is her mother does still care about her. It's just in her own way, if you will. It's one of those where with mothers, for me, I tend to go one of two ways, where either they're very sweet, very outgoing people, or kind of like Ginny's, where it's like you can see that they still care, but their way of caring isn't necessarily correct. So I know for sure that whenever I write motherly figures and motherly characters in that sense, is like I make sure to use their caring attitude and all of that as a strength rather than see it as like a weakness of sorts.
Yeah.
Because I know just overall, like, motherliness for some reason is sometimes seen as like weaker. I don't know. And I know with
I don't think it's seen as weaker. I think for some reason there's a stigma that if you write a loving family, it's not as interesting. I don't know what it is with most writers and protagonists. They always have to have the protagonist come from either a distant family or a very troubled one, or like every family has troubles, but they can still be caring while they do it.
Yeah. It's one of those where like one of the novels that I definitely loved the parents and parental figures in because they like actually played a role was Love, Simon. It ended up being turned into a movie a while back, and God, there was a scene with the mother that just got me bawling. It was like, because I believe in the novel it's about this guy having to come out as gay to pretty much everyone around him. It was nice to see how the mother reacted to this information, and how the father obviously reacted to it, how the siblings and everyone sort of came into place once he was basically outed. So yeah, no, like, motherly characters and all of that, like, that doesn't have to be their only defining trait. And they don't have to die. Can I just add, they don't have to die?
I mean, you've got Catelyn Stark from the Game of Thrones, but to me, she was kind of too motherly. It got played to a sense where they kind of... She just comes across as, I don't know, not likable. There's like a likable sense of motherliness, and then there's that level of like, oh no, they can't go and they can't be their own person, and
protective,
way too overprotective, and way too worrisome, and like
to the point where it becomes like a caricature, right?
Almost, I think. I wouldn't say that Catelyn was a caricature, but I wouldn't call her a good mother. But at the same time, I wouldn't call her a bad one. Like, there are definitely worse out there. But at the same time, I know that one of the things a lot of people say, but then again, a lot of the dislike with Catelyn isn't how she is as a mother, it's just some of the stupid shit she does. So what kind of things do you really like reading when it comes to, like, mothers and motherly characters?
I like the fact that they're kind of like the voice of reason. Like, whenever there's like found families, motherly characters and stuff like that, I love that they're the voice of reason more times than not. They're very down to earth, they're very realistic and logical, and they genuinely care about the people, like just all of them. And I don't know, that to me is really interesting to see, especially when someone that caring gets, this is gonna sound really sadistic of me, when someone that caring just like, it gets broken, and I'm like, god damn.
Is that what your hope is for Ginny? She's so caring and loving. Break it.
No, actually, that's my thing for Zola.
Oh, that's new. Looking forward to that.
I see Zola and Luciana actually more as like motherly figures than Ginny. Ginny has that caringness, but it's not the same way a mother would.
I think there's like a difference of, especially with found families, when there isn't obviously an actual mother. It's very much, you can have two different kinds of mother figures. The ones which are like really bubbly and upbeat. Yeah. Because I still kind of see Ginny has that motherly kind of side to her, in the fact that like she wants everyone to be happy and cares about everyone. Yeah. But at the same time, I do see what you mean with like Luciana and Zola, who both want to protect, if anything. Yeah. So there's two kinds of mothers. There's like that very kind of down to earth, reasonable, I love you all, but you're all idiots. We gotta protect you. And then there's that one of, we're all idiots, including me. Let's just yeah. So, and it depending on which one you have, and I love the fact that we have both in ours, because we really need both, to be honest.
There's so many that you just need to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then it makes it very interesting, like, because then you have the comparison to, like, the father figure in the group. But oftentimes, like, a father figure doesn't get the same kind of like viewpoint as a mother figure does. When you see a mother figure in a group, you're there like, oh, aren't they sweet, they care and all that. But a father figure in a group almost seems like a strict person. Yeah. And it's quite weird to look at it like that, because if anything, the father's role is almost exactly the same as the mother's. It's to care and protect.
Which is kind of what I like about the novel that we're writing, is the people you can, I guess, consider father figures are not the classic strict people. If anything, I see Zola as more strict than, you know, anyone else in the group, pretty much.
I mean, I'm starting to, like, the only person I can think of when I think of, like, the father figure in the group would be Mika, Elliot, and maybe, just maybe, Chester, if he gets his shit together. Yeah, no, it's an interesting contradiction, because, like, yeah, everyone has much more high regard for a mother figure than they do for like a father figure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why that is. I really don't.
I think it's because just throughout history, fathers have always been the strict distance one. So it becomes kind of like a running trope.
Yeah. But one thing I know that we do is just break those tropes anyway, so...
Yes. That is what we do.
I know with mother figures and things like that, what I really enjoyed exploring in our novel, and I feel like people could have fun exploring, I don't know why there's not more of it, is the idea of mothers who have to raise sons without a father figure. Yeah,
yes.
Like lone mothers and stuff like that. Like there's so many different mothers in our novel that it's interesting to see how they do things, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, that's basically what Chester's mother had to do.
Mm.
The only downside being Chester's mother wasn't a very good mother to begin with.
Yeah.
If I'd looked into that more, then that would have been interesting, but that's not the direction I went with them.
I know with Mika, his mother kind of had to take that role after everything.
Yeah, no, because she's a single mother, and obviously he is a male. No, definitely those kinds of dynamics, because I think it's definitely a lot easier for, say, like a mother to raise a daughter and a father to raise a son.
Yeah.
Because as a daughter who was raised by a father and her brothers mostly, like I say, it definitely has an effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is interesting to see how, and that would be an interesting dynamic to look into.
Yeah. Again, there's no right way to make a mother other than the stereotypical way, and when you look at the stereotypical way, it's like that's more of like a motherly character, doesn't have to necessarily be a mother.
Yeah, I mean, there is no real stereotypical mother, I think, at this point, unless you think of like a 50s wife type situation.
Yeah.
I think that is what's considered the stereotypical mother, but at the same time, because people are so different, everyone's experience of a mother and everyone's experience of being a mother is always different. And like, obviously I've never had kids, I'm not old enough, nor am I anywhere close to that in a relationship. Nor am I even fucking in a relationship. But I have already come to the conclusion that nobody knows what they're fucking doing, so when it comes to parenting, there is no right way.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of wrong ways, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's almost like navigating a minefield. Obviously, if you tread on a mine, then that's wrong, but if you go around it and manage to avoid them, then you're doing well so far. Whether you go the exact same path as someone else is a different thing, though.
I don't see it as a minefield. I see it more of like, if you make a mistake, just admit you made the mistake. You know? I know there's a lot of parents out there that get very defensive when people tell them, hey, that was not that great. Maybe don't.
Yeah.
So even if you do step on a minefield, it's not the end of the world. There is ways to fix it.
On the thing that has occurred, but it's definitely honesty and communication above all. I think that's
any and all relationships should have that, just period.
Just in anything, fucking communication is literally, I'm pretty sure communication is one of the main reasons we evolved, was the fact that we turn around and go, hey, look, I worked something out, and you're like, oh shit, he worked something out, let's do the same.
Yeah, I think I had someone tell me that Neanderthals didn't have language. Well, we did, so that's possibly a reason why we evolved and they didn't.
I can't remember the exact thing, but I think it's like, because I remember watching this at Epcot, in Big Epcot Ball at Disney. But it's the fact that, like, humans developed a very, I mean, every creature has its own language.
Yeah.
Not necessarily verbal, and that's the whole point. but every surviving creature has to have some kind of language or way of communicating, because otherwise they just die out. Like, they wouldn't even get past evolving to, like, conscious, because how would they mate? Like, you can't just walk into something and go, oh shit, I've had a kid.
This is what I kind of like about the novel that we're writing, is the people who don't end up communicating end up having just terrible experiences, just in general.
Yes. And the one that has secrets and lies gets in more shit. I think that's definitely something. Every time I have an argument with my dad or with anyone, I try to first kind of approach the bridge of, like, have we communicated correctly first? Like, is this just a misunderstanding? Because that is basically the key to almost any relationship. But it is a very hard skill, especially with some people. Some people just don't fucking have that skill, and it makes the other person's life way harder. But yeah.
Back to the main topic. Mother figures, there's no right or wrong way to really write one. As long as you treat them as any other character, then I'm pretty sure you'll do just fine.
Yeah, they're a person before they're a mother. I think that's another thing which would be interesting. But yeah. What was it? I was gonna say, I did have an idea. Not just mother figure, and it wasn't in a book, but the best parent dynamic I remember is from the film Easy A.
Oh,
The parent dynamic in that is just beautiful. That's how to do parenting right.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, so I'm a little rusty.
Got Chester's favourite actor.
Actress, but yeah.
Actress, yeah. But yeah, no, it's got one of my favourite actors in as well. I mean, Emma Stone included. I do like Emma Stone, but it's the guy that plays the dad. He's cool. He's a good actor. But yeah, no, if you're looking to get, like, a really good parent dynamic, definitely look to that for a reference, because that is a beautiful parent dynamic. But at the same time, like, I guess it's not just the fact of having the relationship as, like, I am the mother. Yeah. It's a friendship at the same time. If you want a really strong, healthy one, if anything, your mother is your first friend. So
one thing I like to see is, like, actual friendships with mother figures in novels, because they're, at least in YA ones. On a lighter note, the game.
Yeah, if we're gonna shifty on to our game, I've come up with another one. I say I've come up with it again. It's another game that's very not so loosely based off another game I saw some people playing, but I've called it On the Shoulder.
Okay.
And essentially, one of us will play a demon and the other will play an angel. The angel will set a scene with one or more characters, and we'll time it for a minute. You're going to have to time it because I'm timing the podcast.
Yeah.
And what we do is we switch after a minute, and obviously the devil's job is to make all of the characters' lives a living hell, while the angel's job is to help them and make them happy, basically.
Okay.
But the trick is you're only allowed to use objects that appear naturally in the scene. You're only allowed to manipulate the scene. You can't just add stuff in. So if, say, for example, like, they're on a beach in paradise, you can't turn around and go, and then a tarantula jumps out of the ocean and eats one of them.
Okay, but if the beach is in, like, Australia, then technically
then a tarantula could appear, then sure. Yes. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, if the problem is, oh no, they're very poor, then you can't just turn around and go, the lottery comes along. Because who said they applied to the lottery? But that is the goal with this. So with that said, would you rather play the devil or the angel? Or do we want to flip a coin or spin a wheel?
Flip a coin.
Flip a coin. How do we want to do it?
I'll go with heads.
And if you win, which one?
Angel.
Okay. So heads, you get angel. looks like you're an angel.
Oh, alright.
So, yeah, you get to set the scene, and I will be the devil, and you get a minute.
Wait. Hold on. I have a few questions. First of all,
alright, go.
Who's the character?
You get to make them up, because you're the angel.
Oh, okay. And the scene I make up as well.
Yeah. You set
And
the
then...
scene.
Okay, and then after a minute, we switch.
Yes, and then it's my turn to narrate.
Okay, is it a minute, or is it like 5 minutes?
Do you want setup to be 5 minutes, and then we'll switch to a minute each?
Sure.
Or that just gives you time to actually think and set stuff up.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
So I'd say 3 minutes instead of 5.
Yeah,
you can do it in 3 minutes.
I can do it.
And then we'll switch to a minute each, and we'll go back and forth until either they're happy or I fucked shit up.
Alright, so... What?
You gotta set a scene in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Go!
So, hear me out. Right? Hear me out. Hollywood. We're in Hollywood.
Yeah, the best place to fuck shit up, basically.
We're in Hollywood. It's in the 50s. I don't know why the 50s. I feel like it's set in the 50s. We have an actor.
Now I've got to go and think about history. Shit.
Wahaha. We've confused them. Anyway. We have this struggling actor. He's down on his luck, you know. He's tried to get roles, but it's not working out. He got fired from his agent for...
I mean, she's making this very easy for me. I'm pretty much just sat back and going, his life's going to the shits anyway. I don't have to do anything.
However, his agent has found him the perfect job. He is so sure he's gonna nail it. Alright? The script is for a big action movie. There you go.
Not a porno. That was something else. That was a different job offer.
That was a job offer in the past. We don't talk about that job offer.
Oh, we don't do it. Again, she's making my job very easy.
You said setup. That was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay. Is that all of the setup? Was that 3 minutes?
He's friends with the director. That's it. We're good.
That was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright, you're gonna have to let me know when the minute's up. So, what's the guy's name?
Jonathan. See what I mean about the J names? That's the first one that came to mind.
Jonathan is a solid name.
Thank you.
I
think those writing sprints are helping.
So, Jonathan, right? He's just gotten this this role in a big action movie. He's friends with the director, and he's been down on his luck. So, I mean, he's already not feeling very great, but he's feeling hopeful. You know, he's got that little bit of hope in him. Until he gets to the set and finds out that that the director is dating his wife. They've been cheating on him the entire time. He, of course, flies into a rage as soon as he finds out, punches the director in the face, immediately loses his job again. He's now being thrown out by security. He's not doing very great. He's very much regretting things. Possibly considering going on a homicidal rampage. We're not sure yet. We're towing the line. Was that a minute, was it?
That was...
You got lucky. He's towing the line of homicidal rage right now. Again, you made it very easy for me.
After a trip to therapy. That's all starting mine off. After a trip to therapy.
He can afford therapy? He lost his job.
After a trip to some lovely therapist. Alright. he's down. He's feeling sad, so he decides to go eat at his favorite burger restaurant, right? It's brilliant. It's best burgers in town. Who does he see? A director from the 50s. I'm gonna say Steven Spielberg, mostly because I don't know any directors.
Let's make one up.
He sees George, the famous director for romances, and he's like, that's the guy I'm gonna sit next to. Screw it. Damn, that was a minute.
You fucked up, I'm sorry.
I did.
So, he feels hopeful, he's got his burger, he's gone and sat down next to George. George, of course, has no idea who this guy is. Immediately, he's a famous director. He's got a bodyguard. He is there going like, I was just sitting enjoying my meal. I was about to have like a very serious meeting.
Why does he have a bodyguard? It's a director.
He's a celebrity. Why wouldn't he?
You telling me Steven Spielberg walks around with a
You don't know that.
You telling me?
This one does. All right. He's got a lot of crazy followers. So George immediately goes, get out of my face. Also, I hate your burger. Fucking slaps the plate out of his hands. Turns out George is a vegetarian. And yeah, Jonathan just gets thrown out of the burger place for sitting down next to a stranger. Everyone thinks he's a weirdo.
That's it. That's
again. This little devil here is not doing much. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Come on, fix the situation.
He then runs into the famous model Brooke, because that's the only name coming to my mind right now. Don't judge me. And Brooke's like,
several years in the future.
Wait, your face. Did we go to high school together? And he's like, oh my god. You're the weird nerd girl, and he's just like, oh my god, you're the weird geeky guy. And he's like, yeah. And so they reconnect. They go out for drinks. It's going good, you know? They go home, you know, one thing leads to another. And then, boom, Brooke's like, so you want to be an actor? I have this, like, little show that I'm doing, you know, it's nothing major, nothing too big. But I think, you know, we can make some strings happen as long as, you know, we're together. Alright, that's a minute on my part.
So, Jonathan's feeling pretty good about this, right? He's got a lovely, beautiful new lass. He's potentially got a new job. He's very hopeful. And he starts going to these shows, and he's doing great. Bless him, he's having a blast. And then he gets a job offer from his agent again, going, hey, that director you punched, well, he got fired because it turns out he was sleeping with someone else, and a new director's in, and they still think you'd be great for the role, so come on over. And Jonathan's like, yeah, no, this is great.
I'm scared.
I know, it's going well, and the devil rarely does it this way. And so Jonathan turns to Brooke and goes, hey, they've given me this great role. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be great. And she turns around and looks at him and goes, but that's in another city.
That's a minute.
Damn it! I got the setup. Don't worry, it's there.
So Jonathan, right? A lovely boy Jonathan is like, you're right, I'm gonna stay here for love. So he does. He stays with Brooklyn because he truly, truly loves her. Right? He truly, truly loves her.
You fucked up my plan.
I did. And he goes, slowly, they get more ratings and more ratings, to the point where some big producer's like, wait, I like that guy. And Jonathan's like, me? And the producer's like, yeah, you. And so Jonathan gets his first gig in the live-action Iron Man movie. I really want to watch Marvel, can you tell? That's a minute.
It's ironic they're doing a live-action Iron Man movie in the 50s. That's... Well, the budget's not going to be very good.
Oh, no.
Anyway, Jonathan, right? Doing great. Got Brooke. He's planning on proposing to her. Clearly he loves the lass. And, I mean, he won't even go for another job offer. He won't even leave her for that. And she's obviously over the moon. She's like, you know, she's pulling strings so long as they're together. And Jonathan's meeting all the right people, getting to all the right places, and like, he wouldn't be there without Brooke, right? And then he decides, I'm gonna marry that lass. Goes out, buys a ring, and comes back, and Brooke sees the ring, and she goes, yes, I'll marry you. Yeah, of course I'll marry you. And he's over the moon until, you know, right up to the day of the wedding, you know, she gets cold feet. She's nowhere to be seen. And his heart just he's that, what happened? She said she'd stay with me, and then his agent calls up and goes, yeah, no, Brooke has left because she thought you were cheating on her because things were going too well, which means someone else had to be pulling strings.
That's a minute.
There you go, see, I came back.
However, like we discussed before, his loving mother shows up and is like, go talk to her.
We didn't discuss his mother before. Where did she come from?
Hold on. And he's like, you're right, I'm gonna go talk to her because communication is key. So he goes and he talks to her and they patch things up, and this game is going on too long, so they live happily ever after. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all week. It is going on too long, though I did need to end it.
They get hit by a bus. A child grows up an orphan.
Jesus Christ. That is really cruel.
I know. Whatever. It's never happily ever after. You don't live happily ever after unless you're immortal. So. Anyway, that was on the shoulder. Okay, so with that said,
was much...
we want to...
Yeah, we do want to go to writing news, but that was more calm than our usual.
Yeah, no, normally we get very... I felt bad after I started. I was like, come on, something good needs to happen to this guy.
Something good needs to happen to this guy. I don't make a good angel, let's be fair. If I was your guardian angel, you're screwed.
Oh, bless. Guardian demon's doing most of the work.
I'd read that.
I had a story I did for that. It was, along those lines. Anyway, moving on to writing news before I go on a tangent again. Yeah, do you want to hit the first topic?
The first topic is this one, yes?
Yes, I assume so.
Alright, my topics all kind of, like, have an overarching theme, if you will.
I'll slot mine in the middle to give you, like, a palate cleanse.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with the good, because I played an angel, so I might as well start with the good. We have 3 authors today, 2 which are doing great work, and 1 that's, bit of a rocky place. So, starting us off with, you know, an author that I'm like, well, that probably should have done what, the bad author should have done, let's face it. The author for Shadow and Bone, right, since we talked about the show, last episode. I believe, I'm gonna botch her name, aren't I? Jesus Christ. I think that's how it's pronounced.
What, the author of Shadow and Bone?
Yeah.
Leigh Bardugo.
Leigh Badu. Okay, thank you.
I would say that. I mean, that doesn't look like a Leah to me, and that's my name. So.
But yeah, no. For those who don't know, she ended up. There's a Shadow and Bone series coming out on Netflix. It should be out at the end of April, so it should be out by the time we record this, and we might end up watching it as a series. Yeah. And uploading it to YouTube's. But yes, she said that I want you to do this better than I did to like Netflix, because in her original novel Shadow and Bone there wasn't really anything to do with diversity. You just assumed all the characters were white. And then in her next novel, which I personally love, that was Six of Crows, there was like every character had.
Wait, so she wrote Six of Crows as
well? Yeah. So she has a book
because I know Six of Crows got seen very highly.
Oh, yeah. I loved Six of Crows, but that's, again, her later novel. So to me, it seemed, again, like Shadow and Bones and that whole trilogy was kind of like her starting out and figuring out her ground. And then Six of Crows, she just knocked it out of the park. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and now, she loves the fact that the main character, Alina, I don't know how to pronounce her name, she's now half Asian, and all this diversity is being added into the movie when she couldn't do that in the book, and she's like, she's very happy about that. And so I thought, props to her, might as well give her some love for that.
Yeah, no, good on her for that. It's nice to hear that, like, clearly, like, she's learning and growing as a writer, and, like, huge respect.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the things that, like, I really appreciate when it comes to our book, is, like, the fact that we have a diverse cast. Like, it's all over the fucking show. So, yeah, the fact that, like, she noticed that and was there, like, no, this isn't good. If you can, please do fix it. That props to it.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to reading Six of Crows when I eventually get my hands on the book. I do have it, it's just in the wrong house.
Would you like to put yours?
Yes. So mine's a quite short one. It's a bit morbid, but I thought it was a very nice thing. Essentially, I found this article from... Now, you said you were going to botch that name. I am totally going to screw this one up. It's Tess Juan-Ha, I think that is.
Okay.
But it was on her experience writing the obituaries for people who had died to COVID-19. Yeah. But one of the things she did was she reached out to Asian communities, noticing that there was a serious lack.
Yeah.
Not only because their traditions obviously run different to how they mourn people, but also because, as I'm sure a lot of people know, there still is, I believe. We're still fighting it. After everything that happened with COVID, there was a huge backlash on the Asian communities.
Yeah.
Which is terrible, and I appreciate that, like, she noticed that and definitely went out of her way to at least give them a voice and remark on some of the people. Some of the names I didn't note them down because I knew I'd botch them completely, and I don't want to do that. But definitely go read the article, because some of the people there were they did amazing things. But the project was done by Maclean, I believe it was, and Carleton Uni, their Future of Journalism initiative. It was a combined effort for the They Were Loved project.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Which was, basically a bunch of obituaries for people, Canadians specifically, people in Canada and Canadians outside of Canada who had unfortunately passed away due to the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a Canadian university. So.
Oh, I mean, I probably know it. I'm just, I'm proud of my country now. Who would have thought?
Yeah, there you go. But no, I just felt like they definitely deserved a shout out for doing that, and it's definitely I know obituaries are one of those where like they often get overlooked when it comes down to it, but
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know what an obituary is, but good on
when someone passes away, it's the part in a newspaper that is basically in memoriam to them.
Oh, that's so nice of her. Oh my god.
Finally clicks in Scarlett's brain.
Yes, oh my god, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, now I kind of want to read some of them. Oh my god, I'm actually going to check out this article after.
I don't think they were on the article, but yeah, definitely look up. As I said, it was called They Were Loved, and it was a project by the university, Carleton University, I believe that is.
Carleton? Oh my god, I think I have some friends who go there. Good on them.
Yeah. It was the Future of Journalism initiative, and now either that is McLean or Maclean, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Either that or it's McLean, and that just sounds like a cleaning up product.
That sounds like Lightning McQueen from the Cars movie.
No offense to them, but that's just what I read it.
Yeah. Good on them. Wow.
Yeah. Be proud, girl.
This is sounding like a very wholesome episode, which explains a lot. Considering the fact that it's like a motherly one.
We're both embracing our inner mothers.
Yeah. Congratulating those who need to be congratulated.
Yeah.
Alright, so for my next one, again, I want to congratulate another person, kind of. Another author, to be fair. So the author...
Are you going to send me their name?
Oh no, I can actually read this one.
Okay.
Darcy Little Badger is an Indigenous YA author. And
an Indigenous, what is it?
Indigenous YA author.
Okay. Sorry, it makes it sound like she's an indigenous species. Here we have the wild YA author in their natural habitat. Drinking coffee in the late hours of the day.
I'm surprised that a British person has decided to make that comment.
You're the one to mean.
You're the one who colonized them. Good luck.
I don't know. It just sounds like an indigenous species. And when I think indigenous species, my brain immediately goes to David Attenborough talking about some crazy species elsewhere. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
Yeah, so throughout the pandemic, she debuted one of her new novels. Surprisingly, I didn't know this, but apparently she had a story in Marvel where they had, like, indigenous superheroes. I didn't even know those existed, but...
I'm gonna have to look up what indigenous means at this point, because my brain's just going to... I don't want to offend anyone in case I accidentally am. Originating or occurring naturally in a particular place. Native. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think I get what
you figured it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and commenting on your previous thing, Britain colonized a lot of fucking places, alright? We're not going down that road. We gave them back eventually. Kind of.
So yeah, this indigenous author, she is a finalist in the Nebula Awards for the Andre Norton Award, which is the award for middle-aged and young adult fiction, because there are different. Yeah, there's different awards in this Nebula Award book award, if you will. And like looking at the novel, what that's called, I'm gonna botch this. I'm gonna let you try because I can't. I am. English is not my first language.
Well, that looks like a made-up word. Elatso? Elatso? Yeah. That looks like Elatso.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll probably link the book in
the
description, maybe.
Yeah.
Do that.
I will. But yeah, I looked over the book, and it basically takes indigenous people mythology and all of that. Yeah, it takes sort of their legends and their folklore, I guess you could call it. And
so is it Native American?
Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Okay. Sorry, there's a lot of mythologies, and I'm not like, which one?
Yeah, no, Native American mythology, and yeah, basically the main character, from what I can understand, can bring dead animals back from the dead. That's actually kind of cool. So it's kind of like
snazzy.
It's kind of, from what I understood, a fantasy mystery novel, and you'll love this. The main character is asexual.
Hey, represent. To all those at home, I am also an ace, as far as anyone's concerned.
So yeah, I'm like proud to see that throughout quarantine she managed to do so much. The way, I mean, we started out this podcast saying how authors have started writing throughout the pandemic, and now one's even possibly going to get a award for it. So
I hope they do. Yeah. I hope we do one day. We wrote in quarantine as well, but we just wrote too much.
Is what we're discovering.
Yes. Turns out what happens when you put two people who like writing big books together is you get a too big a book. Are we on to my one then?
Yep.
So anyway, good luck to that person on their book. I hope you win. Anyway, my topic, bit of a stretch considering normally we talk about writing, but it is a form of writing. Specifically, it is songwriting. There has been, basically, like, people have been out speaking out about injustice in the music industry, specifically between songwriters and this kind of bullying that's started occurring with the publishing rights. It's been going on for a long time, it turns out. One of the stories that I saw in the article was regarding Dolly Parton. Obviously, she was doing great, but she was a singer-songwriter. She wrote her own songs as well. And she wrote the absolute basher, which was I Will Always Love You. Everyone knows that one. And originally, Elvis Presley wanted to do a cover of it. And she was all for it. She was like, yeah, no, I love it. And then at one point, she apparently got, I believe, either a meeting or a draft contract or something from his manager, who was basically saying, we're not going to do this unless you give up half of your publishing rights. And the publishing rights basically wind up how much you get paid, what your royalties are, and all of that. And obviously, Dolly Parton, being an absolute badass, turned around and said no.
Weird why they'd do that, but alright.
And they were there going like, well, then he won't sing your song. And she was like, alright. And then obviously down the line, the Bodyguard film came out, and Whitney Houston sang a cover of it. So Dolly Parton wound up getting the last laugh in that fight. So like, you're lost. But essentially, situations like that have been occurring a lot in the industry, apparently, and not necessarily with such good outcomes, to a point where a lot of very well-known in the industry songwriters have started speaking out about it. The names that were on the article were Emily Warren, Justin Tranter, and Taylor Parks. The only song I could recognize out of the ones that they listed as kind of references was Taylor Parks, who I don't know how much she put in, but she did songwrite for High Hopes from Panic at the Disco, which I know both of us enjoy. But essentially, they formed a group which is known as the Pact, and what they're doing is they've created an open letter. It's gotten over 1,000 signatures. Artists and managers and such have reached out and signed to it, and all of that. So they're doing really well, and essentially, it's standing up against the injustice, and what their aim is basically refusing to just cave in to this kind of bullying that's going on, which is basically the businesses and the managers turning around and going like, we want you to relinquish half of your rights, and or we won't publish your song, or we won't do this, or we won't do that. And obviously that puts a lot of threat, especially with how competitive the industry is.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically it's that they're making a stand for it, and yeah,
Good
I just
on
wanted to bring a light to
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
you know, if you're in the music industry, go support them. If you're not, go support them anyway. You know, just spread the word. So
I mean, they're technically writers too. I know I could never write a song.
I mean, it's in the word, songwriter. They're still writers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's ridiculous, the idea that as it says in the article, like, you can have the managers and you can have the singers and you can have the publishing company who will make the song and get it out there, but the songwriters are the ones that make the song in the first place.
Yeah.
Without them, you have no song.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're getting the smallest cut out of all of it is ridiculous. So yeah, so they're basically bringing light to that and working to get things changed. And yeah, good on them. But yeah.
Applause. I'm so proud.
Proud mamas.
Basically, yeah. Proud mamas.
Do you want to go on to your last one?
Yeah, so we had two, writers. One is excelling, the other one is learning from, mistakes, yeah. And then there's one
currently making them.
The last one seems to not be able to. Okay, I say she as if anyone other than you knows what I'm talking about, but J.K. Rowling. We all know her. She wrote Harry Potter. She makes terrible tweets every now and again, right?
Just keeps digging a bigger hole for herself every time, and you're just not like, just stop, put down the shovel and walk away.
So I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people have basically called her transphobic, and she's kind of confirmed it, if we're being honest. Yeah.
See, I knew about the whole transphobia thing, and she posted tweets like that, and I can't remember how it started. I know it was regarding one of her characters, and I know I saw a TikTok about one of the characters in a German translation was, I believe it was a trans character.
Yeah.
Like, confirmed trans, because in the translation that's just what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact extent of it. I know that there was just, again, she just keeps digging a bigger hole for herself.
She does.
And I don't know why.
I know that, I know something along the lines of, on International Women's Day, someone tweeted, happy International Women's Day for all women, no matter, what's between your legs, if you will. Something along those lines, and she commented underneath where just something that you really shouldn't have commented, to be honest.
I don't know what she commented.
It was...
Do you want me to cut it? I don't know what... Tell me what she commented.
I don't know it fully, right, because I don't use Twitter, and I refuse to use Twitter, but,
Even though we're on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, we're on Twitter. I'm just like, I refuse to get into those controversies. I stay 10 feet away. It wasn't good. Basically, it wasn't good. Yeah, it was a little suspicious, and so she's coming out with a new novel, a new child's novel. She apparently came out with another one like a year or so ago, but that was a fairy tale, so now she's coming out with her first children's novel. Other than Harry Potter, it's been years, and I believe it's called something really weird. Christmas Pig. The Christmas Pig, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, it's about some little boy who has a pet pig, and the pig runs away on Christmas, and they have to go find him, or something like that.
Okay.
What I understood. But
and he comes back wrapped in bacon blankets.
But yeah, so her publishing company, Hatchet, I believe it's called, there was an internal revolt at, the publishing house because some employees, like, threatened to walk out because of her alleged transphobia. But the company stands by her completely. Like, they're like, we,
I mean, she still causes a lot of income, so...
Yeah, like, they said, freedom of speech is a cornerstone of publishing. We fundamentally believe that everyone has the right to express their own thoughts and beliefs. That's why we never comment on our authors' personal views, and we respect our employees' right to hold a different view. Which...
Basically, they went, we're taking the middle ground. This is not our thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, she's making us
Fair
money.
on them, because I would do that as well. It's like, that's a different problem. I'm not even going into that. It's one of those where her books are that much of a staple.
Yeah.
That it's gotten to a point where her fan base really want to separate her from her books.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as a writer... myself, I can understand that would be devastating.
Yeah.
To find that your fan base hate you but love your work.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you kind of brought that on yourself by being a dick.
Yeah, you dug your own grave. I know that apparently a lot of white authors on Twitter bully authors of color, like POC authors, because for like telling them, hey, you can add some diversity here, and then they're like, you don't know what you're doing. It was a weird sort of thing where I don't understand authors bullying other authors. Just in general. I don't get it. We're all struggling.
This is the thing where I kind of stand with the publishing company on the whole. It's freedom of speech, but at the same time, if your opinion is being said to hurt or try and change the opinion of someone else, don't do it.
Yeah.
Leave other people to their opinions, because unless it's directly hurting someone, it's not worth it. Like, just let them think their own way so long as they're not hurting anyone. And that's the main point, is like, so long as it's not hurting anyone. If it is hurting someone, then stand up against it, because that's not freedom of speech, that's bullying. And that is one of the big things, is like, obviously, I guess relating back to our first point is communication is like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, there is such a thing as too much communication to a point where they're like, okay, now you need to shut up, Karen.
I see it more of, it's not lack of communication, it's lack of empathy? Can I say that?
Lack of respect, I guess.
Yeah, lack of empathy, lack of respect. It's one of those where... It's a messy subject.
Yeah.
It really is. But, like...
At this point, our only suggestion to JK is just put the fucking phone down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do what you do, think what you think, but for God's sake, stop putting it on the internet.
Or do what the Shadow and Bone woman did, where she literally learned from her mistakes, and her book got like 50 times better afterwards.
Yeah, that is the lesson there, really. It's funny that, like, some people don't like Shadow and Bone, not pointing any fingers.
I don't.
But a lot of people really like Six of Crows, and I'm really looking forward to reading it.
It's in the same world and everything.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But, like, I don't think you really need to read the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is, like, curious, but then I feel like I'm going to watch the Netflix series instead, because I feel like something's giving me the vibes that the Netflix series might be better.
Yeah, me too. Like, I've seen a lot more promotional material now. Like, I've seen some of the choices, I'm like, I don't really like those choices. Why'd you do that? But then other ones I'm like, okay, no, this is a lot better. Please do that.
I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to watch, considering you've read the books and I haven't, so...
I read the books a while ago, so I don't know how much I'll remember. My sister read them more recently, so I might actually hold a conversation with my younger sister and...
What happened? No, JK's just... I can't with with her. It's one of those where like everyone's there, like as soon as you say I want to be a writer, and they're like, oh, you want to be like JK? And the immediate answer is no, we do not want to be like JK. That is the last thing I want to be.
We pride ourselves on a diverse cast of characters that are in the book diverse. We're not gonna go to Twitter until later. In the book, they're diverse, and I think
it's explicitly said.
Yeah, and I believe each and every single one of them is a character first.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, yes, have diversity, but at the same time, don't just turn around and be there like, this is the black guy in the group. he there for that. That's all he's here for. He's probably gonna die at some point, but he there for that.
Yeah.
Like with us, they are all their own characters, and who they are is a part of them. And I fucking love that. I do like how diverse our book is. And speaking of our book, because might as well throw it out there, we're working on a kind of intro book, I guess we'd call it.
A
for
free novella intro book.
Yeah, which, because I understand we were originally going to publish this year, but things got postponed, stuff got messed about. Mostly my fault, I'm sorry. Scarlett's the diligent one, and the lazy sod. But yeah, no, so we're looking at getting that out around September, October, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But that'll be free, so if anyone's interested in what we are working on, definitely go check it out when it comes out.
Do we have a title?
Don't know when they're going to be listening to this podcast, so, you know, if it is out, go look at it.
I mean, we're looking at hopefully publishing it in September, so
yes,
fingers
hopefully.
crossed.
Yes, around that time. Then we're hoping to publish the main book in April next year. Hopefully, if we can sort out.
Fingers crossed.
But otherwise, you've got the Let's Play to look forward to, and obviously we do this wonderful podcast every month. We've got the TikTok, I believe, we're working on as well.
Yeah,
so we've got fun stuff planned for that. And yeah, we're looking at doing a series for reactions to popular TV shows and such. Because it turns out we're very funny when we look at that.
When we're together. When I look at it alone.
Yeah.
When I look at it alone, I either get really into it or I'm like, I know.
Yeah, just zone out.
Yeah.
Normally I'm eating when I'm watching something by myself. But yeah, no. So we got a lot planned. So yeah. So keep an eye out for that. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, subscribe. Please.
Alright. In that case, this has come to the end of the May podcast. Any books you would recommend, LT?
Yes, so a book I would recommend, which was, ironically, recommended to me by my lovely co-writer.
Oh?
Yeah, it is The Midnight Circus.
Oh, was it Midnight Circus? I thought it was The Night Circus.
It might be, I don't know, it's across the room.
I'm pretty sure it's The Night Circus. Continue.
Hang on. Well, look, I'm thinking Midnight, I think it is The Night Circus.
I'm pretty sure it's The Night Circus.
It is The Night Circus.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite novels. If I didn't know the title, I'd...
I'm sorry. It's across the room and I haven't got my glasses on. So. But yes, The Night Circus. It is a very, very fun book to read. I was immediately won over by one of the characters at the start. And the way everything's described is just beautiful.
She gets
it. At the same time...
I've been dog shaded her, it's okay.
But it's also the fact that it managed to reinstill my love of reading. So I have you to thank for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's the first time I've actually, since reading Heartless, which was another one that I really found, where I've actually been going about my day and been there like, you know what I'd really like to? I like to do more reading. I haven't had that thought for a long time. So that is definitely a book I'd recommend. As for a book I wouldn't recommend, I'm surprised we haven't said not to read these, but at the same time, like, if you want to read them, I won't stop you. It's more, if you want a reference for what is considered good writing, if you want to be a writer and you know everyone says, well, what you need to do as a writer is read. Don't take Twilight or 50 Shades of fucking Grey. Okay, just don't do it. Those aren't staples of good writing. Those are staples of bad writing that have become popular for stupid fucking reasons. If you want to be recognized as someone who's famous but shit at writing, then sure.
Hey,
by all means,
all
have a go.
publicity is good publicity, right?
I mean, not in JK form, no. But yeah, no, I still remember someone mentioning when I was there, like, yeah, no, if you want to get better at writing, because they asked me, how do you get better at writing? Which is weird, because, like, how do I know?
We totally don't have a podcast discussing it or anything.
It's a good point, but they don't know. But yeah, they were there like, so how do you get better? And my suggestion was read. What books have you read?
Yeah.
And they literally said 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm there like, don't read that.
Of
read,
all the
but
ones
not that.
to read, just not that. I know we've discussed 50 Shades of Grey before on this podcast, and we've made our opinion. I've made my opinion known on it. I definitely know that I have.
Just no. Why would you think that was a good idea? But yeah, no, that is my that's my advice. If you want to get better at writing, don't fucking read them unless you are very aware that is not what you should be doing. Read bad books, but be aware that they're bad books.
Yeah. Look at them with a critical eye, basically.
Yeah. Scarlett, you know?
I would totally recommend The Night Circus, just putting that out there. Totally would. I would also recommend Love, Simon. Honestly, it's a quick read. It's, if you like contemporary, made me cry. Like, people say The Fault in Our Stars made them cry. Not Love, Simon made me cry. The Fault in Our Stars didn't make me shed a tear. It sounds really bad, but there you go. However, one that I do recommend that I don't know if I have recommended before, but I totally recommend Six of Crows for anyone who hasn't read it. The TV show has come out. Read it, watch the show. Maybe it's good, maybe
There's
it isn't.
a show?
Oh yeah, part of Shadow and Bone will have some of the characters from Six of Crows, but in the it's a prequel to what happens in Six of Crows.
Nobody told me this.
You're welcome.
Well, we're definitely watching the show now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's only 3 of the 6 3 of the 6 characters are in the show.
Is it the really swanky one that I keep seeing everywhere?
Yes.
Good.
One of the
That's
swanky
all
ones.
I care about. Keep seeing this character cropping up in like cosplays and fanfics and all of that, and I'm there like, I need to read this book. I need to see this man in action.
He's good. And then a book I would not recommend. This is gonna come out of left field, and I am probably gonna get so much hate for this. But City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Yeah. Surprise if my old high school friend is listening to this. I didn't really like that book. It was really boring. I hated it. It was trash. No offense. Like, to anyone who likes it.
Yeah, I remember reading one of the first books in that series, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was
City of Bone is, it's the first one.
Yeah. And I remember it being a tricky read. Like, there being moments where I was there like, why do I care what is going on right now?
Ironically, this is where it's gonna come full circle. Alright, hear me out. This is where it's gonna come full circle. It is a Draco x Ginny fanfiction from Harry Potter. Boom.
Really?
Actually. And it's named after a Ginny x Ron fanfiction. So incest, basically.
What?
Mm-hmm.
For fuck's sake, why are all these books coming from fanfiction?
So, if you wonder why it's really long and why some parts don't have any point, it's because it's a fanfiction. But, yeah.
I mean, at the same point, I can't say anything because I know that the main project I mentioned at the start technically counts as being a fan fiction because it came from me disagreeing with a ship in a book that I read and going, I'm gonna rewrite this.
Yeah, but like, it's one of those where it's like, some things can end up being good, some fan fictions can end up being good, some not really.
It's one of them.
Yeah, it really is. But again, the one thing that I say for City of Bones is why I wouldn't recommend it is the mother figure. Not that she isn't there, obviously, right?
Yeah, she disappears from the start, doesn't she?
Yeah. And then when she comes back, it's like she's a teenage girl, which, like, I wouldn't have a problem with if the writing made it seem like, oh, it's kind of a bad thing that she suddenly became, like, a teenage girl and she has, like, a love triangle. A love triangle just for the mother. Like, she can either date the villain or date this wolf guy. It's in the show, too.
What?
Yeah. And, like, she has this entire love triangle going on. Obviously, there's no bad ways to write a mother figure, but, like, really? I'm not a fan. I'm personally not a fan.
Don't make them a teenager is the answer to how to not write a mother figure. Well, a mother character. You can write a mother figure that's, like, got those characteristics, but a mother character, just no.
Unless you're going to have that affect the protagonist in some, like, way where, like, oh, they had to, like, take care of themselves because their mother was too busy being a teenager, then, like, yeah, I can kind of understand that, but, like, again, make it realistic.
Yeah. The only way I could see that being really interesting was if it was like a number 5 situation where, like, they were that kind of adult and then they came back and then, like, they're now in the body of a child and then they're like, I'm still gonna get shit done though.
Yeah.
That would actually be really interesting.
But yeah, no, just those novels, why are there no good angel stories? I'm gonna write one, I swear to God.
Yeah. You don't think there are any, write one.
Don't tempt me, I will.
So with that said, do you have an inspiring or uplifting quote?
Mothers everywhere, we appreciate you, we see you, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you.
My one is 9/11 created 50 Shades of Grey.
No. No, it didn't, and you know that.
Look at the conspiracy theory.
I'm pretty sure I've seen what you're talking about.
I know. I can't remember the exact chain of events, but that's why you shouldn't read 50 Shades of Grey.
If I find it, I'll link it.
Jesus
Christ.
That's my inspiring quote.
And on that, we're leaving the lovely listeners of this podcast to go about their day. Thank you for listening to us ramble once again.
Yeah, and we'll see you all next month.
Hell yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe! Tatty bye!